Hey guys, welcome to Power of Attorney. I am your host, Latanya Moore. I'm very excited, guys, about today's show. You know that we are doing a shift here at Power of Attorney, and we are challenging all of our viewers to open your mind, open your marketing to the global marketplace. And I know most of you are solopreneurs, and so this is going to be especially interesting for you guys because today I have Mylah Langford with me. She gave me a list, right? So she gave me a list of what she does in the business. And I know most of us can relate to this. She is the CEO, CFO, marketing and PR person. She's the brand ambassador of Mylah's Prestige Edge LLC. Mylah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Latanya. I really appreciate you having me today. My intro, I hope you got a kick out of it and you found it funny. But I introduced myself like that for a reason, strategically. I think that what I can best offer to any entrepreneur, including globally, internationally, is the fact that you will be wearing all those hats. You mentioned it in your intro with regards to us all, a lot of us being solopreneurs. And being a solopreneur, you're going to be wearing all those hats, and you'll want to delegate and actually wear them well. And because ultimately you're representing your company, and you can't falter on any of them. You have to have an even playing field and put your best effort with regards to acquiring business, because that's what you went into business for yourself for, so that you can acquire business, grow your business, make money, and be able to live. So thank you for that. I've officially been an entrepreneur for a year and 6 months, a little bit over a year and 6 months now. And I finally was able to, it took about 2 months to secure a Fortune 500 company. And it's an international company, and I'm super excited about that. The base is here in the United States, but there is some additional opportunities now coming up with London. And I had been a member of a student organization called Siphon College, and had an opportunity to take advantage of a huge celebration called Agaciro, which was for, gave me the opportunity to meet some Rwandan delegates. So I'm going to be tapping back into that. But I want to really talk a little bit about what I actually do, because when people hear business consultant, it's always like, do you have a job? I'm like, yes, I promise you, I have a job. It's probably one of the hardest fields out there, because you are spread among multiple entities for your company. And when you're servicing other companies and offering your services to other companies, you serve in that capacity for them. So it's a lot of listening. I engage my new clients in conversations about their bottom line and overhead. That's the number one thing that I'm going into initially. My background's in finance and business, but I observe also the way that they run their business daily. And then overall, afterwards, I offer them advice on business skills, knowledge from designing a business model, marketing, they need that. To determining which marketing techniques to use for any budget. And that would also include, sales coaching, business etiquette, and how to apply all those things to help your business to thrive ultimately. And I had actually legitimized my business back in 2012. I was not ready to take that leap. It was a combination of fear. It was a combination of not wanting to let go of my cushy lifestyle. And it was ultimately, when I did finally leave, it was a sacrifice. It was truly, truly a sacrifice, multiple sacrifices. But the level of, I don't want to say happiness, because happiness we know is a happenstance, and I view it as something, you're going to be happy sometimes, you're going to be sad sometimes. So I don't focus more on that. I'm very much so a spiritual person. So I can say that I've experienced a most heightened joy that I have ever been able to. I'm able to have more time for, get up at 4:45 every morning and do my devotion. I'm able to set my day. I'm able to truly feel like the work that I'm doing is able to really impact someone's livelihood, is able to, and I was able to do that before when I was with the financial institution that I was, but it's just a heightened experience of that. And, you know, we all supposed to be wanting to progress and grow. And so it allows me to do that. And I love helping people. I love helping people. I love teaching. I love coaching, and I love results. And so, you know, you're results driven in my background in sales, for instance, being a leader in that. Now I'm able to see results in people's livelihoods and see results in people's, their companies. They're making money. They're seeing changes. Their bottom line is elevated. Their overhead is lessening. And it's really, really an exciting time.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. And one of the things that I know, at least in my business and some of the clients that I serve, I hear that a lot. I went through it about taking that leap of faith. Like you said, I mean, especially for those of us that had, you know, 6 figures. I had 6 weeks of vacation. You know, you got the 401k, or in my case, the thrift savings plan. You have, even though for me, at least, you know, you have a 50-hour work week, but, you know, standard, but that check is coming every 2 weeks, and you know that you're going to get it, versus the entrepreneurial lifestyle. But one of the things that you mentioned, and I was just like, yes, is that joy, because there is nothing, please let the audience know, just there is nothing more valuable than that peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
with that freedom. At least, I mean, was that your experience? Because that's been my experience. It was hard, like you said, up and down, but oh, the peace.
Yeah. As much as I don't want to, we live in the United States, and I'm going to just give a harsh reality. As an African-American woman, we deal with certain things in corporate America that other demographics are not having those same kinds of experiences. So I always liken it to some of what you see in the day-to-day life outside of corporate America. Say, you know, a young Black man just being out in the, you know, driving or being out, and he's just viewed as a threat because he may be stronger, bigger, or physically, you know, never even having a conversation with him. I'm just going to use just the physical for now. In the workplace, my experience, and a lot of my peer colleagues who also happen to be African American, their experience in the United States was a similar battle, if you will, a battle where they felt like they were having to, I'll just use myself for an example. So the exploitation factor was a huge reason for me wanting to go into business for myself. While I didn't have that day-to-day sadness that some of my other friends and colleagues had, you know, crying spells in the bathroom, you know, and this was as a result of having ideas stolen, work stolen, and you feel like to a certain extent you have to kind of take it, you know, to keep your job. You have to keep your mouth shut. And multiple experiences. Actually, it almost feels like infinite amount of experiences from me and other various peer colleagues. And even me, I don't necessarily think that I got it as bad, but the better you do, you'd be surprised at what you're exposed to and the level of exploitation that you will actually be faced with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Like, I feel all of that, and I think that lots of people that are struggling, right? They're on the fence. They do have responsibilities. There are things, and I think people like yourself and other people like myself that are saying, okay, this is the roadmap. I always tell people, one of the questions I always get asked when I'm on the other side is, what's that thing, right? Because I share my ups and downs, and they're like, well, what was that misstep? What's the thing that you feel that you should have done that you didn't do?
mm-hmm.
And if I had to pick one, I always say I should have had a business coach and a life coach, because my life coach would have told me when you leave your job, you cannot live like you did when you were working. My life coach could have just one session, right? Just fixed it all. But my business coach would have also said, you don't need all of these things, number one. And number two, they would have said, never put all of your eggs in the basket of one client. That's 70% of what you have going on. So those are some things that I've learned. What are some things that you've learned, and what's some advice that you'd give either the person that's at that 9 to 5 going through those things you describe, or the person that has said, I've had enough and I'm leaving, but they don't know what to do next?
You know, the person that's, let's start with the person that's still on the 9 to 5 and experiencing exploitation. I think the first thing is to really have a definitive understanding that that's what you're experiencing. So many negative things on a day-to-day basis may not necessarily be exploitation. In corporate America, though, 99% of it is, in my opinion. But that may not be what you personally are being exposed to, because ultimately, if you're not a producer for whatever it is that you're supposed to be, whatever goods and services that you're providing on the job that you're on or in your career, there's a good chance that you won't experience it as exploitation. It can be something totally different. But if you have been able to identify it as officially as exploitation, then I think that you are the perfect candidate actually to go into business for yourself. I would say even then, like I said, I left and went into business for myself as far as working the job in 2017, in February of 2017. But I had actually developed my LLC in 2012 and was continuing. And I had actually been doing research since 2012. And I had actually been being targeted by clients of mine who said, come and work with me, come and work with me. And I had been turning them down since 2010, and so ultimately I was able to know for sure, okay, there's a need for me outside of this capacity where I do feel like I'm being exploited. And then I was able to say, okay, I've done the research. And then I was able to say, okay, I got my credit to a level that I feel good. Okay, I can get a couple of credit cards. They will be able to help me. And then I was able to say, okay, and I've saved some money. See, and that's being exposed to, being exploited, knowing that this was the case, And even then, when I left and I did not have a client, you know what I did? With my savings, with my credit cards, with everything that I had, I still said, no, I need to have an official client. But I need to get out of my 9 to 5, which I was doing well, and which, like you said, you put the 50 hours in or sometimes more. So it doesn't give you the time to dedicate to your own business, And so I said, okay, I have this, I have my nest egg, I have, decent credit now, it's time. So I drove Uber. I left my close to 6-figure job and drove Uber, and I drove Lyft. And during the time that I would actually have patrons that I would be picking up, I was still tweaking my business model. I was still making phone calls to try to acquire my business clients. And I was still able to continue to fine tune, continue to grow what my vision is, continue to put the goals that I saw for myself, continue to do the financials to see how much money I needed to make, how much money I wanted to make, how much time it would take to make that amount of money. And so all those things were going into it. And I actually went through I just now came back around and paid those credit cards down. Every penny of that savings, I went through it. And so ultimately what I'm saying is the sacrifice, you'd be surprised what you will sacrifice. I had, a Mercedes-Benz SUV and a Mercedes-Benz sports car in my driveway. Those are both gone. The Mercedes-Benz SUV, I actually did sell because I owned it outright. But my Mercedes-Benz sports car, I had to let it go. you know, and that was a hit on my credit. But because I did keep those other credit cards down, it wasn't too awful, you know, and I didn't have much longer to pay on it. So it was really a sacrifice. It was really, really a sad situation. But that's somebody that was extremely prepared. And and my point is, so you want to make sure that you're ready. You want to make sure spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I'm the oldest of tons and tons of kids. I don't even want to tell you how many kids I'm the oldest of. And I think I'm tired. This is the reason I don't have children myself. But I remember knowing that I was always, you know, a leader, and I was always a person that kind of is outgoing in my professional life, but very introverted in my personal life, quiet, reserved, and I'm always observing people. I'm a people watcher, but I don't really need a lot of human interaction in my personal life. Whereas my business life, I'm the life of the party, run my mouth all day, and people are like, does this woman ever shut up? But I like her, you know, but that's really not how I am in my personal life. And since that, I thought that I'm this loner and I'm this person that is, you know, loves being alone and I'm working everything. It is a very lonely process being an entrepreneur as well. And so that mental stance needs to be taken in consideration too. So your financial, first of all, spiritual, definitely, because you want to make sure you're making the right decision. The mental, the emotional, the financial, all those ducks in a row, and be prepared for the unpreparable. You know, there will be sacrifices that you are not expecting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is awesome advice for our audience. Thank you so much. Let them know, where can they contact you so that they can continue to follow you, because I can't tell you the countless people that are going to watch this that are in the situation we've been in, this, you know, and I know that they should reach out and they need to reach out. How can they get in touch with you?
Right now, I'm still running everything from my personal social media, Reddest of Roses on Instagram, and it's exactly spelled exactly the way Reddest of Roses sounds. Just go Reddest of Roses Instagram, follow me, and I have some stuff that I'm actually going to be putting up, eventually going to do a business page, but right now, Reddest of Roses on Instagram. Follow me on there and you'll see exactly what I'm doing. And I put things on when I'm hiring. I put things on when I'm actually taking on new clients. And that is the best way to contact me. Just send me a message on Reddest of Roses on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your journey, and just an encouraging message with our guest here, on our audience here on Power of Attorney.
Thank you, Latanya. It's been a pleasure. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.